I haven't really been painting like this in this style for probably 4 years. I'm mostly an encaustic painter, but I moved to Brooklyn right before COVID hit. And I didn't have a place to do encaustic, and so I just took over the living room and I started doing sculptural work and I started doing work on paper with ink. But now that I'm back, I just kind of go in between all three of these, and I think it just depends on my mood. And I think conceptually they all sort of are speaking the same language.
Yeah.
At least I hope they are. This work was called Capra Hircus because it had like this goat form, and then I decided to change it. So the title will be something else entirely. And I won't know that until I'm done. Somebody said, let's go to the Puyallup Fair. And I was like, it's not really my thing. And then I thought about that and I was like, why isn't it your thing? You're getting very boring. You do art and then you sleep and then you eat and then you do art. Like, go to the Puyallup Fair. So I went to the Puyallup Fair and I discovered the goats, and then I just couldn't stop photographing them. And then I made a whole bunch of paintings based on goats and goat forms. They were abstracted. And this was one of them, but I felt like changing it. And that's the other thing with encaustic. You can actually come in and reheat it and keep going or change it. Like I dug out the whole center of this piece yesterday to start over and do something completely different. And then I created a whole different set of problems to fix. I took a finished thing and made it into a conundrum so that I could fix the problem and maybe come up with a completely different painting, a completely new painting. And now I feel like I'm kind of doing new things. So the goat references are pretty much gone. At some point you can just get lost in it and just enjoy the process. And then you have to also toggle and be like, okay, let's stare at it for half an hour. Just look at it. What is it doing? And is it doing anything for you? And is it making sense to you? I have an entire show of COVID work. It's very dark. And it just makes sense. It makes sense that that work came out at that moment. I think paintings are about getting started, getting lost, resolving, getting lost again, resolving, to the point where you're like, yeah, you know what? Now it feels right. This does not feel right. It is a long way from being done. It's definitely a work in progress. And sometimes it's just a matter of obscuring something or wiping it out or cutting it out or heating it up and scraping it out and starting over. And at that point, you may just be like, well, that's a complete scrap. I'm going to melt the whole thing down and start over. But the beauty is going through that whole process. And every once in a while, you get one that just works. It has the right feel to it. And at that point, it's just a matter of making it really work for yourself. Because at some point, I would rather melt a painting down than have it out there unresolved.